Et si on pouvait commencer déjà, et puis j'arriverai comme ça, on éviterait de vous faire attendre longtemps. Si je suis passé, c'est pour vous présenter les excuses. Deuxièmement, c'est pour soutenir aussi la fondation qui nous réunit ici, Open Society Foundation qui nous réunit ici cet avant-midi, parce que le thème qu'il a choisi, c'est vraiment le thème qui se trouve aujourd'hui, que nous reprenons nos activités en présentiel, au cœur des menaces contre le droit de l'homme. Qu'est-ce qui menace le droit de l'homme aujourd'hui? C'est le Covid-19 qui tend vers sa fin, mais c'est les conflits récurrents qui sont rentrés, ce sont les guerres, et ce sont les guerres, les conflits et les coups d'État. Alors qu'on pensait que le coup d'État était derrière nous depuis un certain temps, mais vous voyez ce qui se passe aujourd'hui en Afrique de l'Ouest.
We have undergone a significant internal transformation covering the entire Open Society foundations. I'll talk a bit only about the transformation that has been going on within Africa. Africa had 5 entities which have been merged into one as a result of the transformation. We had a foundation in West Africa, OSIWA, that some of you may have worked with. We had a foundation in East Africa, OSIA. We had a foundation in Southern Africa, OSISA, and a one country foundation covering the territory of South Africa. And also we had an African regional office, AFRO. All those entities have been merged into one, and they are now going to be referred to as the OSF Africa. And we are going to work in only that one entity across the places that we cover within the African Foundation.
Conflict has lived in Africa for a very long time, and it really is a cause for concern. We believe that there has to be a way of dealing with conflict, but up to now, we have not been able to crack that code. We talk about civic space. Civic space is also another concern to civil society. Both COVID and conflict have adversely affected civic space. If I may say that COVID has indeed exacerbated the negative impact that conflict had on all of us.
As a body, what is your stand on ensuring that African leaders respect term limits?
When we talk about term limits, there was a time on the continent in the 90s where most of the constitution that was revised used to say that president cannot do more than 2 terms. And it was through national conferences or through new constitutions that were adopted. But what we have seen on the continent at the same time, when a president does his first term, the second term, nearly at the beginning of the second term, they try to change the constitution.
One of the key issues that have been discussed here is about coups in Africa. And according to records, the military coups has declined from 15 to 8 in 1991 to 2000, and 5 between 2011 to 2022. But already 5 coups has been witnessed within 24 months in Africa. Those in Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, Chad, and Sudan, respectively. So my question is, what do you think has been wrong, leading to these instabilities or return to these instabilities in Africa?
Based on the information that was provided in the conference, although there is a return of coups to the African continent, the number and frequency is definitely lower than was the case in the early years soon after independence, but there's definitely something that has happened that is the subject of notice and concern. coups are not the solution, but they indicate a problem. They indicate a problem of people feeling dissatisfied with what you would call the condition of human security. Human security discusses all those things that are needed to make life bearable. It's security from hunger and security from physical insecurity of the kind that has been very, very pervasive in parts of the continent, particularly the Sahel. It is security for social protection, people feeling that they need to have an assurance whether their kids are going to go to school, the things that people need to have a livelihood.
My name is Sana Kamara. I'm a journalist and a blogger. Still dealing with this crisis, military coups and crisis. We've seen the 5 coups that happened recently in the past 2 years, for example. Most of these states have a situation where they are saying that these are outside forces, like France is directly responsible for what's happening in their country, in terms of mineral resources problems, in terms of other governance challenges, the insecurity, instability. And most of the time, the civilian population are looking up to the civil society as their voices. We've not been seeing, probably I have not been seeing a lot of advocacy from this, the civil society groups. What role do you play in this situation? Or do you leave the military to battle with France, or do you have a way you can also weigh in and see where does the fine line goes to draw? Because obviously military coups are not the solution.
The issue that we are faced with is that coups are not as such conducted in the will of the people. It's a mere change of power from one oligarchy to another. And we as a people don't have a role when that happens. We become victims of abuse by the military. Fundamentally because of the failure to separate civilian authority and the armed forces. I think the African democracies have got to make sure that there is a clear line of divide between the civilian authority and the military, because otherwise democracy is at risk. We must insist that the army must have no role in the way a country is governed. That's the one issue. Of course, the second issue that the African coups have always been influenced by external forces. Those who have an interest in the African economies, the superpowers. And in the last 50 years or so, many of the coups that happened in Africa were sponsored by external forces who wanted to have a stake in the minerals of Africa, in the oil, without caring about the welfare of the people. So to some extent, the debate must continue as to the role of external forces in African democracy. Are we as African people able to usher our own destiny without someone coming into our country to ensure that they put in power those who are to safeguard and protect?
When this activity was being planned, we were like, this is like 3 different but dangerously situations that affect everybody the world over, especially in Africa. So this conversation we felt was very important. And everybody that we spoke to, we encouraged to come, was interested. There are others who were interested but had other obligations. So I am hoping that when the report is ready, we would be in a position to share with them. And I also hope that our journalist friends here will help to make sure that the information is disseminated. The outcomes are very important. This discussion was very enthusiastic. You got a lot of information, and we want to encourage you to share the information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks all. Thank you.